Have you ever shifted your residence from one place to another? What were your emotions then? In most cases, we feel sad and lonely when we are separated from our best friends. Here is a biographical narrative of author Zan Gaudioso about the challenges she experienced as a teenager and how she overcame them when she moved from one school to another. Zan happened to be depressed and upset because of joining a new school. In her old school, she had many friends and she enjoyed a lot. All her best friends had joined other schools. Moreover, the present school was twice the size of the previous school. She felt so lonely that she frequently visited her old teachers, who encouraged her to participate in activities and meet new friends. They even comforted her assuredly that she would soon forget her old school, though that couldn't console her. One Sunday afternoon, Zan was busy doing her homework with her cat beside her. Her mother was fueling the fire to keep their home warm. Suddenly, Zan saw the seams of their ceiling covered with smoke. Soon the smoke filled the room. All of them immediately ran outside to escape from there. Getting out, Zan quickly realized that her entire house was on fire. She alerted the neighbors to call firemen, and in the meantime, her mother rushed back into the house. Why would have the mother gone inside the house again? Would she get out safely? Her mother came out with a small metal box full of documents and ran inside again to take the photographs of her late husband. Zan tried to run after her mother, but a fireman stopped her. The other firemen brought her mother out and assured Zan that there was nothing to worry and that she had only inhaled a little smoke. 5 hours later, the fire was doused, but the house had completely burned down. Soon it struck Zan that her only companion, her cat, was nowhere to be found. Alas, they had no other option than to leave the house in its dilapidated state and go to her grandparents' place. All they could carry with them was the clothes on their body, the metal box, and the fireman's blanket. What would Zan and her mother do without anything of their own? What do you think happened next? Let us find out in the next video.
Hello students! In the last video we saw that Zan's house was completely burnt. How do you think Zan and her mother dealt with the ordeal? What do you think they did to cope with the loss? Let's watch this video and find out. Then came the most awful days of Zan's life. She went to school the next day wearing the same dress she had worn on Sunday. But her shoes had gotten burnt. She had no backpacks, no books, and she looked weird roaming around like a zombie. She didn't want to grow up if life was going to be that tough. The security she had felt till then disappeared. All she wanted was to die. One day she went back to where her house stood and was shocked to see everything in ashes. Resettling in a new place was difficult because all their credit cards, cash and identification cards were burnt. They had to borrow money from her grandparents for everything. In the following week, the debris was cleared out and she went there hoping to find her cat. She had been missing it terribly. Imagine yourself as a homeless person. Isn't it traumatic and depressing? What would you want to do to get back on your feet? Everyone at school knew her plight and she hated that kind of attention. One day at school, people behaved more strangely than usual. They asked her to hurry up to the gym. She hurried to the hall only to find a table full of shoes, clothes, books and goodies. It was like Christmas and she felt overwhelmed by all the love she received from the people she had never before spoken to. Days later, her house was rebuilt. This time, she had 2 new friends. It took a fire to push her to come out of her insecurity and open up to others. While they were still sitting there, a woman walked up to them from behind and asked Zan if the cat belonged to her. Zan could not believe her eyes. She took the cat into her arms and cried with joy. The cat too purred happily. It had run over a mile, frightened by the fire. Its collar had Zan's phone number. Unfortunately, the telephone was disconnected. The kind woman helped Zan reunite with her cat. She was filled with gratitude for all the companionship, kindness, and love she received. She realized that having a home mattered more than having a house. What is the difference between a house and a home? Where can you find a home? Yes, a house is a building, while a home is a place where a family stays emotionally bonded together. We can find a home where we find the love and affection of a family and learn that possessing good values is more important than material possessions. What lesson do you learn from the story?